Today we are peeling back the curtain on roommate horrors that will make you question just how well you know the person living under the same roof. From unnerving discoveries to midnight mysteries, these tales are bound to keep you on the edge of your seat. So buckle up as we explore the dark corridors of shared living. And remember, sometimes the real horrors are closer than you think. Let's open the door to these eerie adventures. Story 1. The Whispering Roommate. During my junior year of college, I opted for an off-campus living arrangement, moving into an apartment building designated for students. Here I was randomly assigned a roommate by the University Housing Services. His name was David, a fellow student who seemed friendly and polite at first glance, always ready with a smile and engaging in light conversation. However, as the days progressed, subtle oddities in his behavior began to surface. David often lingered in my room longer than seemed necessary, asking probing questions about my personal life and casually rifling through my things as if it were the most natural thing in the world. Initially, I brushed off his behavior as mere curiosity or perhaps a lack of social boundaries. But with each passing day, my discomfort grew. The apartment at night transformed into a stage for unsettling sounds emanating from David's room: whispering, talking, shuffling. At first, I told myself it was just him watching TV or chatting on the phone late into the night. But the unease settled deep within me as these noises grew more frequent and peculiar. One sleepless night, driven by a mix of fear and curiosity, I tiptoed down the hallway to David's door. Pressing my ear against the cool wood, I listened intently. The sounds that met my ears were chilling. David was whispering to himself, his words muffled and indistinct. Then, abruptly, the whispering ceased, replaced by a heavy silence. My heart raced as I heard him utter my name, Jeff, as if he knew I was eavesdropping. Panicked, I retreated to my room, the implications of that moment weighing heavily on me. In the days that followed, David's behavior became increasingly strange. He shot furtive glances my way, his actions tinged with a secretive urgency that left me unsettled. One evening, as I lay in bed, the sound of my bedroom door softly closing jolted me awake. Footsteps retreated down the hallway, David's footsteps. I could no longer dismiss the alarming signs. Confronting him about his late-night wanderings, I questioned whether he had a history of sleepwalking or other sleep disturbances. His hesitant admission that he sometimes sleepwalked did little to ease my concerns. My intuition screamed that something was profoundly amiss. Compelled to uncover the truth, I seized an opportunity to investigate his room while he was out. The search was frantic, driven by a desperate need for answers. Hidden at the back of his closet, I found a small drawer that chilled me to the bone. Inside was a collection of photographs, dozens of them, many featuring me asleep. The invasion of my privacy was blatant and disturbing. Shocked and violated, I gathered evidence and immediately reported the situation to the university housing authorities. They moved quickly to reassign me to a different apartment, and David was dealt with according to university policies. Even now, years later, the memory of those whispering nights and the haunting images linger, a stark reminder of the hidden dangers that can lurk in shared spaces. Story 2. The Basement Rules. Life at home had become untenable, forcing me into a hasty search for new accommodations. Desperate for a solution, I scored apartment listings and roommate apps, eventually finding an ad that caught my eye. A man named Luke had a room for rent in his 3-bedroom house at a rate of $1,200 a month. The listing promised that Luke, who would also be my landlord and roommate, was seldom home, offering substantial privacy for the renter. Luke's ad came with stringent house rules, prominently noted in all caps: no parties, no large gatherings, no drinking in the living room, and absolutely no use of the basement. While these rules seemed strict, they weren't uncommon and driven by necessity. I arranged to meet Luke and view the house. Upon my arrival, Luke's demeanor struck me as reserved and slightly uneasy. He was cordial but noticeably tense, his voice faltering as he showed me around the expansive open layout house. The room was spacious and well appointed, and the house felt like a steal at the price. Despite the peculiar emphasis on avoiding the attic and basement, I agreed to move in, desperate to settle into a new routine. As I moved in, Luke reiterated the rules, particularly about the basement and attic being strictly off-limits, used only for his storage. The first few days passed uneventfully, but it wasn't long before I noticed that Luke's car was a permanent fixture in the driveway, contradicting his claims of frequent absences. The house at night began to feel different. Strange noises, footsteps, doors opening and closing, became a nightly occurrence. One night, driven by a mixture of fear and curiosity, I discovered the door to the basement slightly ajar, dim light spilling from beneath. As I peered down the shadowy stairwell, the sounds of distant banging reached my ears. Startled by Luke suddenly appearing at the bottom of the stairs, I retreated hastily after a terse exchange. My discomfort grew when, days later, I found my bedroom door unlocked and items inside subtly disturbed. It became evident that Luke had accessed my room. This invasion of my privacy left me feeling vulnerable and violated, escalating my concerns about what was hidden in the basement. Compelled by a growing sense of dread and suspicion, I seized an opportunity when Luke was out to explore the basement. The descent was eerie, the basement small and cluttered, with a strange odor pervading the air. My flashlight beam fell on a locked door from which the smell seemed to emanate, but I dared not discover what lay beyond. Thank you for joining me in the Shadow Room Stories today. Each of these tales reminds us of the importance of vigilance and the potential darkness that can lurk behind closed doors. If these stories send a shiver down your spine, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more mysterious encounters. And now I ask you, have you ever had a roommate that made you question your safety? Share your experiences in the comments below. Until next time, keep the lights on and stay safe.